What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Buster here at Buster Plays, and we've got another good one for you today. So go ahead and leave a like, hit that subscribe button for more Madden 25 content and other football content. Sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Well, the Tennessee Titans were blessed with the first overall pick in the draft after the just terrible season they had. I'm still a Will Levis believer. He's probably not going to get another chance on Tennessee unless an injury or somebody has a change of heart. He just has an explosive arm. He makes dumb plays, but take a look at this offensive line, and it's just not great. And I feel like if you got him some help there, he'd be better. But that's not why we're here today. We're here to select Cam Ward with the first overall pick. Not going to hide it, not going to make you wait for it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to bring a quarterback into Tennessee, give Brian Callahan a guy he can work with, his guy, not somebody else's. The rest of the offense is, look, Peter Skoronski and J.C. Latham, they're young. Tajee Spears is young, but outside of that, Tyler Boyd, Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, this team needs some youth, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, you bring in T'Vondre Sweat to pair with Jeffrey Simmons and Sebastian Joseph Day. Definitely need to look at another left end. The corner spot is okay. They did, he's probably hurt in this, but, why can I not bring up his name? Ladarius Sneed. They brought in Ladarius Sneed. Could use some safety help, some linebacker help. This team needs help all around, and we are not going to be getting it and fixing it all year one. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're starting at the divisional round of the playoffs, so we'll have the number one pick. We have the right. Everything's right, so let's go ahead and get to the free agency. We'll get to the offseason. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the yearly awards and the Super Bowl before we get into the offseason. Looking at Lamar Jackson MVP, Kevin O'Connell Coach of the Year. That's maybe give it to Dan Quinn, but either or. Jamar Chase winning Offensive Player of the Year. That's fitting. He is the Triple Crown winner. Defensive Player of the Year going to Trey Hendricks. That is interesting. Offensive Rookie of the Year going to Brian Thomas Jr. I still think it goes to Bo Nix in real life, but him and Ladd McConkey definitely deserve to be in the race, and even Brock Bowers as well. Defensive Rookie of the Year going to Kalen Bullock. He deserves it on the AFC side. Nobody has been better. Best quarterback going to Lamar Jackson. Best running back, Derrick Henry. Best wide receiver, Jamar Chase, of course. Best offensive lineman, Creed Humphrey. Best defensive lineman, Trey Hendrickson. Best linebacker, Nick Bonito. Shout out. I think Nick Bonito is fantastic. Definitely deserves it. Best defensive back, Marlon Humphrey. Best kicker goes to us, Nick Folk. We actually get an award winner. And the Philadelphia Eagles are the Super Bowl champions, beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Jalen Hurts getting his first Super Bowl MVP. Well, this is who we're targeting in the free agency. Josh Sweat, just a nice linebacker. Just to help out the defense. I know he's a little older. Same with Ryan Kelly, a center, until we can draft one that's going to be a lot better. Javon Holland, a star free safety, that's 25. And Tutu Atwell, an extra receiver, that's 25. He's got speed. We could really just use all the young speed that we can get. So let's see who we get. I don't really want to offer him a 5-year deal, but we will and see if that does it. It does. We get Josh Sweat. Get everybody we were going after. Now we just got to get to the draft and bring in our star quarterback. Well, here we are at the draft, and as you know, as I've said, the Tennessee Titans have the first overall pick. So let's go ahead, pick our guy, the one, the only, Cam Ward out of Miami. He's got incredible arm talent. He can make all the throws. I think he gets a little bored. I think that's my one critique of him. He looks like he gets bored out there on the field because Miami always found themselves like in these close games when they shouldn't have been. Regardless of that, though, he's coming to Tennessee. Welcome to the Titans. We have our future quarterback. And with our second round pick, we're going after Princely. Princely U. I'm not going to say it. Out of Ole Miss. I'm not going to butcher the name. Welcome to Tennessee. Trying to shore up this defense as best we can. Only a normal dev, but hopefully we can develop them. And in the fourth round, we're bringing in Kobe Bryant out of Kansas. He's a man coverage guy. That's kind of what we're looking for. We need more corners and we need young guys, especially on the defensive side. And another normal dev. These pre-built drafts, you get a lot of normal devs. We got another fourth round pick here at 114. So let's go ahead and make this pick. And I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. We're also going to bring in Jason Henderson out of ODU, a middle linebacker, 22 years old. Nothing. It's a fourth round pick. The last pick I'm going to make is going to be Ozzy Trapilo, just because I got him in the last rebuild and he's hidden depth. So we're going to start him, get him to develop, because we need offensive linemen. And to take a look at the draft recap, of course, we brought in Cam Ward, Princely, Kobe Bryant, Jason Henderson, Ozzy, CJ Taylor, and Josh Fryer. 3 70-plus overall players. I'm perfectly fine with that. We'll get these guys in, get them playing as best they can, and we'll probably have a long year with Ozzy at right tackle, but I'm going to try to start him and get that dev and get that development going. And now it's time for us to take a look at the team before we get into, we'll call it year 2, but it's technically our first year. We got Cam Ward, Calvin Ridley, Tutu Atwell, Treylon Burks, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears. This is what the offensive line's looking like. It needs some work. Problem is the generate the best lineup button that they said they got working just isn't working still. Madden. So I had to put it all in the depth chart. I might move Lloyd Kirchenberry, but I kind of want our rookies to develop. So I might just leave it the way it is and develop the team as it is. Defensively, of course, we have Tavondre Sweat here, defensive tackle. We drafted Princely this year. Jeffrey Simmons, L'Jarius Sneed, Roger McCreary, Chidobe Awuzue, Kobe Bryant, John Brownlee Jr., Amani Hooker, Harold Landry, Kenneth Murray, Jason Henderson, the rookie. We brought in Josh Sweat and Javon Holland. The team's better than it was last year. I don't know how it's going to perform. I still think our offense is missing a couple pieces, and mainly missing an offensive coordinator that we will look to replace at the end of the year to try to get some boost for Cam Ward. Well, we're here at the mid-season. We have some people to re-sign, starting with Roger McCreary, who's only 25, so we will go ahead and get him to stay for the remainder of the rebuild. Amani Hooker, I believe we also can keep. Actually, you know what? I just feel like we can get an upgrade. 27, he's only going to regress. Chigo Okonkwo, I feel like we can keep, but I also feel like we can do better. So I don't know. Maybe we just offer him this. We get him to stay. Treylon Burks, I think, can go. He doesn't want to be here. He's not developing. 25. Kenneth Murray, I kind of want to see how the end of the season goes out, because if he gets a lot of tackles and gets a depth trait, we may keep him. Logan Bruss can go. Petit Friere can go. Bryce Oliver, Arden Key, Ali Gay. Really, everybody else can go. We only have $39 million cap, so we are kind of wrapped up. But kind of think we're in a good spot. And we are 2-5. So we haven't really been winning, which is not great. But I'm more interested in how the team's playing. And Cam Ward's not doing great. 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Tony Pollard, only 220 yards. Tutu Atwell, 438, 0 touchdowns. Treylon Burks with 2 touchdowns. Okonkwo with 5. Calvin Ridley with none. Kenneth Murray leading the team in tackles. This is what I'm talking about waiting, because if he hits that 120 tackle mark, he will get a dev trait. Josh Sweat in TFLs with 7, and Princely with 4 sacks. Jeffrey Simmons with 3.5. Harold Landry with 3. 2 interceptions for Kenneth Murray and 1 for a good amount of other players. So we're in a good spot. Well, we're at the end of the year, and Cam Ward finishes 3,600 yards, 22 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Tony Pollard, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. Tajay Spears with 5 of his own. Receiving, Tutu Atwell breaking 1,000 yards, only 2 touchdowns though. Treylon Burks with 921 and 8, and Calvin Ridley with 669 and 2, and Okonkwo with 7 touchdowns. Defensively, Kenneth Murray finished in the year 130 tackles, so we probably will re-sign him because he will get a dev trait. Josh Sweat leading the way in TFLs with 13, and Harold Landry leading the way in sacks with 7.5, 6 for Jeffrey Simmons, and 6 for Princely. 3 interceptions for L'Jarius Sneed, 2 for Kenneth Murray, 2 for Owuzie, and 2 for Jarvis Brownlee Jr. I messed up his name earlier. And that does it for the season stats. And we finished 7-10. I don't think we had but 1 dev trait. All we had was Ozzie, who has worked his way up to a 67. So hopefully he keeps his dev trait and can continue to grow next year. Cam Ward playing up to a 79. Hopefully we can get a really good offensive coordinator that'll bump that up into the 80s for next year. Defensively, we didn't have any dev traits. It's really not solid rookie class as far as dev traits go, but we do have some. Hopefully this year we can bring some in and get some good dev roles. And taking a look at the award winners, Patrick Mahomes winning the MVP, Zach Taylor winning Coach of the Year. We're not going to be on either of those lists. Offensive Player of the Year going to Lamar Jackson. Again, nobody on the list. Dang, the Colts had 3 players on the list. Defensive Player of the Year going to Myles Garrett. We don't have anybody there. Offensive Rookie, Trey Harris. We don't have anybody on the list. Defensive Rookie, I don't know who that is, but we don't get it. And Princely is down at 5. Best quarterback, not on the list. Best running back, not on the list. Best wide receiver, not on the list. Best offensive lineman, nowhere to be found. Best defensive lineman, not there. Best linebacker, nobody there. Best defensive back, nobody there. And best kicker, again, and nobody there. And as far as dev traits go, Kenneth Murray and Harold Landry got dev traits. So did Josh Sweat going up to superstar. I believe Harold Landry will probably lose his dev trait because of his age. But Kenneth Murray we may re-sign because he's got that dev trait now. And the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott win the Super Bowl. I haven't seen Dallas in a Super Bowl in this game in quite some time, so that's very interesting. So taking a look at it, actually, we will not keep. We didn't re-sign Amani Hooker, but they all lost their dev traits, so we're going to look to replace those guys. And sadly, Ozzie lost his dev trait too, so we're going to have to look to replace him as well. Well, this is who we're targeting in the free agency, Jameson Williams, because we need another young, fast receiver. I can't say it enough. Bring him on board. Our offense will be far more explosive. Will Fry's a right guard. We're in a tight race with New York. I'm going to leave it alone. If we get him, we get him. If not, oh well. And Caleb McGarry, just a temporary option at right tackle to try to make this team a little bit better for next year. And we get both Jameson Williams and Caleb McGarry. Now, Will Fries, we're in a three-man race. Let's see if we can get him. And we do. That's kind of surprising, as we were the third option. Never had that happen before. So we've built out the right side of this offensive line, brought in a new receiver. All offensive ads, but we're going to focus defense in the draft. Well, we're here at the NFL draft, and we have pick 8, so let's get to it. I'm just going to go ahead and go with a strong safety in Shaden Young. It is our biggest need on defense. He is a top 5 talent. Looks fantastic. Out of Texas. Welcome to the Tennessee Titans. Try to shore up this defense. Ranked at 2, got him at 8, and a hidden dev. Well, here we're looking to grab our future right tackle, Dylan LeBlanc. Looks to match everything we need, and a hidden dev. We get a big player to add to the offensive line. Well, here in the third round, Glenn Stevenson looks like the pick, a middle linebacker with elite speed, elite agility. Has the number grades, a power move too for a pass cover, a power move, a man coverage, a zone coverage, B awareness. This guy looks like a physical freak. Welcome to the team. Only a normal dev, but we'll see the field. Well, in round 4, this guy's projected to be undrafted, but he's a round 1 talent. We need more receivers. Here we go. Dylan Hitchens. Normal dev, but high enough overall. And to take a look at the draft, we killed it. Shaden Young, an 81 overall. Dylan LeBlanc, a 73 hidden dev right tackle. Glenn Stevenson up to a 70 or at a 73 overall. Dylan Hitchens a 75. Emmanuel Canty, the computer, drafted at a 75. So that is 5 players over a 70 overall, and even Cedric Chapman, who the computer drafted in the 7th round, right there to 69. Nice. Well, before we get into year 2, year 3, whatever you want to call it, this is the roster moving forward. Cam Ward, of course, at running back, or at quarterback. Tajay Spears taking over the starting role as Tony Pollard has started to regress. Jameson Williams, we added. LeBlanc is going to be on the bench just because we're better at tackle. So nothing bad there. We lose Caleb McGarry next year, and I'm sure he will bump up and start. Skoronski, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries added to the team. Still have Okonkwo. Gonna look for a tight end potentially, even though we need more receiver help to help Cam Ward out. And defensively, the team still looks all right. Tavondre Sweat, Jeffrey Simmons still have the main core. Princely, hopefully he develops more this year. Stevenson, our rookie middle linebacker. Hopefully he can get a lot of tackles. Young, our rookie strong safety, hidden dev. And I think this team's looking really good. We're ready for year 3, so let's get into it. Well, here we are at the mid-season of year 2/3. Tajay Spears, we may re-sign. We're going to see how the year plays out and see how he does. Tony Pollard's going to walk. Owuzi's going to walk. Tutu Atwell, I don't know. I still don't know. We're going to focus receiver heavy in this draft. And I really think everybody else can walk, even Caleb McGarry, because we did draft a right tackle this past year. So we're going to keep going with how stuff's doing, really. We'll focus more on re-signings at the end of the year. And sadly, we're 2-5. I don't know why we're not winning. I feel like we should be a little bit better than that, but we're going to take a look at the stats and see. And Cam Ward's turning the ball over a decent amount. 1,700 yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Tony Pollard still leading the way running. I don't know why. Dylan Hitchens leading the way in receiving, 508 yards, 6 touchdowns. Maybe a dev trait to come at the end of the year. Tutu Atwell, 476 and a touchdown. Jamison Williams, 391 and a touchdown. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson, our rookie, leading the way in tackles with 51. Josh Sweat in TFLs. Princely, not far, well, tied actually. Jeffrey Simmons leading in sacks. Josh Sweat right behind him. And only 1 interception for 1 interception yard from L'Jarius Sneed. Well, here we are at the end of year 3. Cam Ward, 4,200 yards, 31 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. That's a pretty good year, honestly. I'm not upset after a sophomore year from Cam Ward. Tony Pollard still leading the way in rushing. I don't know why. We'll probably re-sign Tajay Spears and let him go at it in that spot. Dylan Hitchens with 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. Better win a Rookie of the Year and get a dev trait. Tutu Atwell, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Jamison Williams, 926 and 5. Defensively, Glenn Stevens, over 100 tackles, 2 TFLs, and 5 sacks. Pretty good year. Jeffrey Simmons leading the way in TFLs and in sacks with 8.5. Josh Sweat with 5.5. 4 picks from L'Jarius Sneed, 2 from Roger McCreary, and 1 for a couple others, including rookie Shaden Young. And we finished the year at 7-10, but we are up to an 85 overall, which means we are developing. Let's take a look at the potential dev traits we have. And on offense, I don't believe, well, LeBlanc actually did have star dev, and it moved, I guess, to JC Latham got hurt. So LeBlanc was able to play. Defensively, we had Shaden Young, who is a superstar X-Factor player. That's fantastic. And taking a look at the yearly awards, we don't find ourselves in the MVP hunt or in the Coach of the Year hunt. Offensive Player of the Year, we are not on the list. Defensive Player of the Year, not going to be there. Offensive Rookie goes to Dylan Hitchens, as we expected. Defensive Rookie goes to Glenn Stevens. That's actually really nice. We win both Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Years. Best Quarterback, Cam Ward at 8. Best Running Back, Tony Pollard at 7. Best Wide Receiver, Dylan Hitchens at 6. Best Offensive Lineman, Will Fries at 8. Best Defensive Lineman, not on the list. Best Linebacker, Josh Sweat and Glenn Stevenson at 9 and 10. Best Defensive Back, L'Jarius Sneed at 5. Best Kicker, we are not on the list. And the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl 28-20 over the Los Angeles Chargers, and Devontae Smith wins the Super Bowl MVP. Well, taking a look at our dev traits, it seems as we did lose our center, but Dylan Kitchen goes up to Superstar Dev. Cam Ward's still not going up yet. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson does get a dev trait. Shaden Young keeps his. Everybody else stays the same. All right, well, we are hiring Frank Cole, a quarterback guru, onto the team to try to help Cam Ward out. And I think our best thing to do is upgrade our accuracies and try to upgrade Cam Ward as much as possible. Well, the only person we're going after in the draft is Clark Phillips, a cornerback. Just one to add to the team. He's young, good enough, and he joins the Tennessee Titans. We still have $100 million. Well, here we are at the NFL draft. We have pick 10, so let's get to it. We got a couple options I'm really thinking about here, and let's see who's available. Really, he's that bad, huh? Terrence Gray is an option. I was really interested in a left end. But the one I was interested in is not good. And that doesn't make me feel good about any of the others. Andrew Foster. He's going to be somebody to look for. Well, that just gives me the idea of going after a wide receiver. And who other than Channing Parrish, a round one talent? Welcome to the Tennessee Titans. Ranked at 22, we got him at 10, and he's a hidden dev. And we really need a left outside linebacker. I'm curious of who to draft. We're going to just go ahead and skip to Andrew Foster for now. Bring in another middle linebacker to help out. Should be, oh, he's only normal dev, but he's good enough. And here we're going to go ahead and take Jelani Watkins, a left outside linebacker with elite speed. Oh, maybe a good player and hidden dev. Even though he's a pass coverage guy, he's going to have to go into that left outside spot. All right, well, taking a look at the draft recap, Channing Parrish, our first round pick, a 74 overall. Andrew Foster, 72. Jelani Watkins, a 72. We simmed out from there, so not a big deal. I mean, 370 plus overall players. I think this team's going to be in a really good spot. Well, we're here to take a look at the team before we hop into year 4. And our offensive line is looking in a decent spot. Cam Ward up to an 86 overall. Dylan Hitchens, of course, the second-year player. Superstar Dev, 83 overall. Jameson Williams. Parrish, who we just drafted. Tajay Spears is here. Defensively, we need some help at left end, but Princely's played okay. The rest of the team looks really good. We just added Clark Phillips III. We have L'Jarius Sneed, Roger McCreary, Glenn Stevenson, Jelani Watkins, Josh Sweat, and Javon Holland. All right, well, here we are at the midseason. We have some re-signing to do, and it's going to start with Jeffrey Simmons. I kind of want to keep him around. We're going to see if this does it now. We're going to have to continuously push that. Tavondre Sweat, I do want to keep. We're going to offer him a nice deal to keep him around. Peter Skoronski, only 26 years old. Pay your offensive lineman. He'll stay around. L'Jarius Sneed can walk. Everybody else can walk. We will just have to focus on keeping... Actually, this kicker, Ben Talley, we're going to keep him around too. Star Dev. And then we'll just have to focus on re-signing Jeffrey Simmons. Now, we are 3-4, which has me slightly confused. I'm going to take a look at the national scouting, where we're going to change our national scout to a cornerback from receiver, because I think we have receiver handled. And taking a look at our dev traits, we don't know Parrish's yet, but he is playing up to a 78 overall, which is very nice. Defensively, we still don't know Watkins, but I'm sure after some time we will. Everybody's playing up. Well, actually, all the offense is playing up. Most everybody else is playing pretty good. Hopefully, we can turn this season around and not finish 7-10 again. And taking a look at the stats, Cam Ward, 1,900 yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Tajay Spears at 275 and 6 touchdowns. Dylan Hitchens leading the way in receiving yards again with 570 and 4 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, 435, and Channing Parrish at 360 and 4 touchdowns. Glenn Stevenson leading the way in tackles and TFLs. Jeffrey Simmons in sacks with 5. And an interception for Cedric Gray, Javon Holland, and Shaden Young. And right now, we stopped to do our focus scouting, but Glenn Stevenson has a breakout. We're going to see if he can get it. And he just gets the dev trait, goes up to superstar dev. He's a superstar. That is fantastic. What an achievement for him. Now, we are 4-7, which is not good. It means we're not winning. I don't know why. We're an 85 overall. We're a better overall than the Houston Texans, and somehow we are getting blown out in these games, and our offense isn't scoring. So what that tells me is we are actually going to change our schemes to those of our offensive coordinator. We're just going to change it to Chicago. We'll keep it at the West Coast zone run. Hopefully that helps a little bit. And the other thing we need to do is upgrade our offensive coordinator to try to help. Yeah, he's spread. Okay, so we're going to go to spread. Well, we finished the year 8-9, which is not great for an 87 overall team. We should be doing better than that. I'm not sure why we're not winning. And I know why we're not winning. Cam Ward is turning the ball over. 23 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Tajay Spears not doing great, 690 and 9 touchdowns. Dylan Hitchens dropped at the end of the year, didn't break 1,000 and only 5 touchdowns, 8 and 3 for Jameson Williams. Channing Parrish with 725 and 6. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson's 130 tackles, 10 TFLs, almost leading the team in TFLs. Princely does though. And Jeffrey Simmons in sacks with 11. 4 interceptions for Shaden Young, 2 for Cedric Gray, 2 for Javon Holland, and 1 for a couple others. And taking a look at the yearly awards, Cam Ward not sneaking up in the MVP race, and we are not in a Coach of the Year race. Offensive Player of the Year, we don't have anybody on the list. Defensive Player of the Year, nobody's there. Offensive Rookie, Channing Parrish at 4. Defensive Rookie, nobody on the list. Best Quarterback, not going to be there. Best Running Back, not going to be there. Best Wide Receiver, not going to be there. Best Offensive Lineman, not on the list. Best Defensive Lineman, Jeffrey Simmons at 6. Best Linebacker, not there. Best Defensive Back, Shaden Young at 3, and best kicker goes to Ben Talley. And the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl against the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes winning another Super Bowl MVP. And taking a look at our dev traits, Channing Parrish is a star dev. We didn't get anything on the offensive side of the ball. And Cam Ward, even though he's playing up to an 88 overall, is not playing good. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson goes up to a superstar X Factor. Jelani Watkins loses his dev trait even though he was only star. And L'Jarius Sneed drops down to a normal dev. Alright, well, we're trying to keep Jeffrey Simmons on the team for a little bit, and he's actually just going to go to free agency. We have $130 million. We'll go ahead and accept Cam Ward's option. Everybody else can go, though. We're not concerned with keeping any of these guys. Let's see if we can have a big free agency. Well, we kind of went after Creed Humphrey and Jack Campbell. We got nobody, so it is a empty free agency. We got a bunch of money going into next year, though. Well, here we are in the NFL draft. We have pick 13, so let's get to it and see who we're going to pick. And we do have a good amount of options in this draft, actually. At good spots, we need cornerback, we need linebacker. But I think our biggest need is going to be some sort of power rusher to fill. Yeah, it's not. That's sad. Or actually, we could technically move one of these guys down, like Jose Hitchens. 262, 6'4", a power rusher. Probably going to move to the right outside linebacker position, or right end position, as a power rusher. And he ends up being ranked at 22, but he's a hidden dev, so he'll fit right into that spot. And in the second round, we're taking Reggie Ashmore, a top 5 talent cornerback. Welcome to the team. Ranked at 3, got him at 45, and hidden dev. Yeah, here we're going to take another middle linebacker in Calvin Anderson here in round 3. Ranked at 28, got him at 77, and he's hidden dev. And taking a look at the draft recap, we did pretty good. Jose Hitchens, we already said we are going to move him to a right end. And that actually bumps him up to a 77 overall. Reggie Ashmore, a 78 overall. Calvin Anderson, a 74. And Nick Cordova, who actually the computer drafted at a 72. Well, this is the team going into year 5. We bring in Cordova, a center. Cam Ward still here, Hitchens still here, Parrish still here, Tajay Spears, Jamison Williams. The offensive line looks really good. Defensively, we bring in a right end in Hitchens. Stevenson looks really good. That we may just go ahead and bump up to the 2 spot and keep everybody else where they are. Shaden Young still here. We have the rookie Ashmore at CB3 to hopefully pop up and kind of replace Ladarius Sneed, who we just lost. And I think we're in a good spot. I still think we got some improving to do, but I think our offense can kind of carry us this year. Well, we are at the mid-season and we have some people to renegotiate with, starting with J.C. Latham, our left tackle. We do want to keep him around, so we are going to pay him. And I think we also pay Princely, if he will stay for that. We got a little bit of movement to do with him. And I'm not sure about everybody else just yet. We'll have to wait to the end of the year. Tiger Shanks, that's an elite name. We'll have to wait till the end of the year, try to see how everybody's playing and how people are developing before we make those final decisions. And taking a look at how we're playing, Cam Ward not turning the ball over this year. 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Tajay Spears, 430 yards and only 1 rushing touchdown. Dylan Hitchens leading the way in receiving. James Williams not too far behind. And Channing Parrish leading the way in touchdowns. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson leading the way in tackles. Josh Sweat in TFLs with 7. And Jose Hitchens, the rookie, in sacks with 3. Not a lot of sacks from anybody else. 2 picks for Roger McCreary. 1 for Jelani Watkins. Not a lot of defensive stats, which is super concerning, being we are only 2-4. I'm looking at that Colts score. I don't understand why. We had a win against the Texans, lost to the Lions, lost to the Packers, lost to the Bears, win against the Vikings, lost to the Colts. And it looks like these are all, outside of the Green Bay game, these are all really close games. A 3-point loss to the Lions, 3-point loss to the Bears, 10-point win over the Vikings, and a 2-point loss to the Colts. So I'm not quite panicking just yet, but we will go ahead and take a look, see if we know any dev traits. Nothing. Oh, Cordova is a star dev center. Nothing else on the offensive side of the ball to look at, though. And defensively, it looks like Jose Hitchens is a star dev, and same with Anderson and Ashmore. So 4 star devs from this past draft class. Well, at the end of the year, taking a look at the stats, Cam Ward, 3,600 yards, 29 touchdowns, 11 picks. Tajay Spears breaking 1,000 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns. Dylan Hitchens, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Jamison Williams with 1,005. Channing Parrish with 7 touchdowns. And same with Okonkwo. Defensively, Stevenson leading the way in tackles. Jose Hitchens, the rookie, in TFLs. And Jose Hitchens in sacks with 11.5. That's exactly what you want out of your rookie right end. Josh Sweat even with 10. Princely only with 5.5. 3 interceptions for Roger McCreary, 1 for a couple others, and not the defensive stats you were hoping for as far as turnovers go. And it looks as if we're just stuck in this terrible spot as we go 8-9. 87 overall team. We shouldn't go 8-9. I don't really know what the deal is, because if you look at this team on paper, they're really good. I like a dev trait from Cam Ward, but he's a 90 overall. Dylan Hitchens is good. Jamison Williams is good. Channing Parrish is a good wide receiver 3. Defensively, our D-line needs to improve a little bit, but Jose Hitchens is a rookie. Devondre Sweat is still young and fairly good. Princely is doing okay. Cornerbacks are really good. Shaden Young's good. Outside of a left outside linebacker, I feel pretty good about this defensive linebacker core. And Javon Holland, who I never get him to develop at all. Like, he never goes above that 85 overall for me. But he's still a serviceable free safety. And taking a look at the yearly awards, we're not going to find ourselves on the MVP or the Coach of the Year ballot, of course. Offensive Player of the Year, we don't have anybody on the list. Defensive Player of the Year, Jose Hitchens at 8. I think Josh Sweat was there as well. Offensive Rookie of the Year, we don't have anybody on the list. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jose Hitchens. Ashmore at 9, but that's good. Hopefully we get a dev trait for him. Best quarterback, not going to be on the list. Best running back, Tajay Spears at 6. Best wide receiver, nobody there. Interesting. Best offensive lineman, Will Fries at 5. Best defensive lineman, Jose Hitchens at 6. Best linebacker, Josh Sweat at 2. Best defensive back, nobody to be found. And best kicker, Ben Talley at 5. And the Los Angeles Chargers are the Super Bowl champion, giving Justin Herbert a Super Bowl MVP. Well, checking our depth traits through the year, Cam Ward still doesn't get one, but everybody else on offense stays the same. Defensively, Jose Hitchens goes up. Josh Sweat loses his depth trait. Jelani Watkins gains the depth trait. And Javon Holland loses his depth trait. Okay. So we got some work to do this offseason. Well, Princely did not want to re-sign with us, so he's going to walk. We're going to go into the free agency trying to replace these two players, tight end Okonkwo and Princely, the left end. It's just time for them to move on. We'll find somebody to replace them. All right, well, this is all we're going after in the free agency. I know this guy's a right end, but we'll move him over to left end and Matt Ariza, a punter. See if we get either one of them. Yeah, we're just not going to get them, are we? We got Matt Ariza. We did not get the left end, which really hurts. I guess it's going to be time to draft one. Well, we're here at the draft, and we have pick 14, so let's get to it. See who we can pick, I should say. Have a feeling we kind of lost out on a lot of people there. All right, we're taking Glenn Friedman out of Texas here. 2 Bs, an A, an F in zone coverage. Oh, well. Looks like the best pass rusher on the board. We'll probably move him around, or we might not. Ranked at 40, got him at 14, and only normal dev. I regret my decisions. Okay, this is the pick. Johnny Mills, a tight end, a lot of elites, looks fantastic here in the second round. Ranked at 7, got him at 46, only normal dev. How is that a normal dev player? And our focus here is going to be, we have to have more pass rush. So we're going to take some swings and probably miss on a couple pass rushers here. All right, this may be the best pass rusher on the board. Jaleel Buckley, he was not. This is a tough-looking draft for us. Well, taking a look at the draft recap and how we did terribly. Only 270, in their mid-70 overalls, and then a lot of 60s. Jaleel Buckley, we're going to move down to left end. Hopefully that gives him a little bit of a bump, but man, we are in a tough spot here. Well, we're in our 6th and final year of this rebuild. This is what the team's looking like, and I can't really say I'm too upset with it. Our offense looks good. We have playmakers everywhere. Our offensive line's in a good spot. Cam Ward's playing up to a 90 overall. Defensively, there's some work to be done. I want Buckley starting there. There's definitely some work to be done. Did Friedman get hurt? He did, sadly. About ready to take over that starting role too. But yeah, there's work to be done here. We have some big time guys like Glenn Stevenson, Shaden Young, Jose Hitchens, even. But we're just missing a couple key pieces, like pass rush isn't the best, but hopefully it doesn't matter and it's enough to get us, to the promised land and to the Super Bowl. Well, we are at the mid-season and we have a pile of people to re-sign, although we do also have a pile of money. We're not going to worry about it because this is our last year and I'm not worried about anything other than winning a Super Bowl to this point As we have Cam Ward, 1,800 yards, 15 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Tajay Spears, 476 yards and 7 touchdowns. Dylan Hitchens, 796 yards already, 8 touchdowns. Not a lot for anybody else. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson leading the way in tackles. T'Vondre Sweat in TFLs and T'Vondre Sweat in sacks. It seems as if we have a little bit of a fall off from last year. 3 interceptions for Glenn Stevenson, 3 for Clark Phillips, and 1 for Shaden Young. And we can finally celebrate as we are 5-2. We're leading the division. We're actually the 3 seed in the AFC. So I have a lot of confidence moving forward. We just have to keep up the good work. Well, we're at the end of the last year, whatever year it is, year 6. Cam Ward, 3,600 yards, 29 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. So he did fix his turnover issue. Tajay Spears did get hurt, so Canty came in for a bit, but only 690 yards and 7 touchdowns. Dylan Hitchens, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. Jameson Williams was 6-5. Channing Parrish was 6-5. And the rookie tight end, Johnny Mills, 559 and only 1 touchdown. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson leading the way in tackles. Jose Hitchens in tackles for loss, tied with T'Vondre Sweat. And Jose Hitchens in sacks. He turned it around at the midseason. He ends with 11.5. 5 interceptions for the middle linebacker, Glenn Stevenson. 3 for Clark Phillips, 2 for Roger McCreary, and 1 for a couple others. Well, we kind of fell off a little bit, but we finished 10-7, which puts us at the 4 seed. We have a shot in the playoffs. We have to take down the Denver Broncos, so let's go ahead and try to do that. Well, we're going to go ahead and go to the end of the game. Jump in if we have to, as looks like we do have a tight one. We are up 3-0. It is 10-0. Like us to keep working on that, as we are not. So it's gonna be a tough one for us to get in here and score. Now we do have 1:35, so we got plenty of time. As we are going to hit Tajay Spears for a nice little gain of 6. I'm not worried about letting the clock run. As we are going to hit our tight end, Mills, over the middle. He had Patrick Surtain on him, so I don't know. He got open, though. Hit Tajay Spears. Just keep marching it down slow. Okay, we can't do slowly. What the? Why did it do that? And we toss it up to Parrish, who catches it with 3 seconds left on the clock. This game sometimes is just this game. We take down the Denver Broncos in the wild card round on a last-second Hail Mary when it shouldn't have been last second. And Cam Ward, 15-17, 173 yards. We only had the 1 touchdown. Tajay Spears, 23 yards and a touchdown. Channing Parrish leading the way on the 1 big reception and the only touchdown. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson leading the way in tackles. 2 TFLs for T'Vondre Sweat. 3 sacks for Jose Hitchens and 0 interceptions. Well, now we have a tough one. Taking down the Kansas City Chiefs, who I believe were they're the 2 seed in the divisional round. Let's hop into it, see if we can do it. Well, it's time for us to go ahead and get to the end of the game. Hopefully we can hold out here against Kansas City as we take a 7-0 lead. I'd like our offense to work a little bit harder here. Don't come away with points there. That's interesting. 10-14. And this is where we're going to have to come in on offense. Try to see if we can score with very little time on the clock, which isn't hard to do with the way this game plays. As we're just going to take off with Cam Ward, slide down, get the first down. It's all we needed to do. Keep the clock moving. I don't like the runoff here. Hit the screen pass to Tajay as Chanel is able to block shed and still catch up to me. We have a wide open receiver, Parrish, going to step out of bounds at the 25. That's a nice gain. Puts us in a good spot. Still a minute left on the clock. We got to keep on driving. And we're just going to take off with Cam Ward again. Walk out of bounds down at the 15. We're going to have to stop that at some point, but I don't really know when. 53 seconds left. Hit Parrish. Get the first down. I don't like how much the clock runs there. And we hit Mills, and he's going to fight his way into the end zone, leaving 17 seconds left on the clock. Do a cover 4 drop. We're going to try to get in here with Jose Hitchens and disrupt this throw. I mean, they have timeouts, but 7 seconds left on the clock. I'm okay with. All right. 3 seconds left on the clock. We got to be ready for a pass. And I'm trying to get pressure here with Jose Hitchens. And that's going to do it. That puts zeros on the clock. We take down Kansas City in the divisional in a thriller. Cam Ward, 234 yards and a touchdown. Tajay Spears, 28 yards and a touchdown. Jamison Williams leading the way in yards, but Johnny Mills with the sole touchdown. Defensively, Glenn Stevens leading the team in tackles. 2 TFLs for Jose Hitchens. A sack for T'Vondre Sweat, 1 for Jose Hitchens, and an interception for Shaden Young. And we have an AFC Championship game against the Indianapolis Colts, who I didn't even know they made the playoffs. They sneak in at 9-8. They did 28-21. This could be a tough one. The 4 and 6 seed making it all the way to the AFC Championship game. Time for us to hop in and see if we can take down the Indianapolis Colts. All right, well, it is time for us to jump to the end of the game. Let's see if we can take down the Indianapolis Colts. As we are on the board first, our offense needs to stay at it. 14-3, it's a good start. We just have fallen off since then. What did we stop doing? And that does it. So we barely pull it out in the AFC Championship, taking down the Indianapolis Colts 11-14. It was a close one, but we ended up pulling it off. Cam Ward, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Tajay Spears with 46 yards. Dylan Hitchens and Johnny Mills with the receiving touchdowns. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson leading the way in tackles. No TFLs. A sack for Josh Sweat, Jaleel Buckley, and Jose Hitchens, and no interceptions. And taking a look at the yearly award winners, we are nowhere on the MVP list. What about Coach of the Year? Did we finally make that? Yeah, we're down at 7. Offensive Player of the Year, we're not on the list. Defensive Player of the Year, still not there. Offensive Rookie, Johnny Mills at the 2 spot. Defensive Rookie, Jaleel Buckley at 5. A little higher up than I thought. Best quarterback, Cam Ward at 5. Best running back, nowhere to be found. Best wide receiver, Hitchens at 5. Best offensive lineman, Cordova at 8 and Skoronski at 10. Best defensive lineman, Jose Hitchens at 10. Best linebacker, Stevenson is at 9. I don't know how he only made it to 9. Best defensive back, Clark Phillips III at 10. And best kicker, Ben Talley at 5. And for this Super Bowl, we have to play the Chicago Bears. An odd Super Bowl. No 2 teams you'd ever think to see in the Super Bowl, especially kind of where they are right now. But we're here trying to play them. Let's take a look at our dev traits before we get in here. And Cam Ward still does not have a dev trait, which is upsetting. Playing up to a 93 overall. Defensively, I don't think anybody moved whatsoever. Oh, Ashmore actually goes up to superstar dev. Everybody else kind of stays the same. Well, it's time for us to try to take down the Chicago Bears in the Super Bowl. Let's go ahead and go to the end of the game, as we always do. And a low score, but we do score first. Chicago answers right back, and then they answer again. And we're going to take this a little bit slower now, as we are in the red zone, but I don't like the look of that. 3rd and 13. And then a 5-yard 3rd and 18. Oh, but we just score to Kendrick Chapman. So we got a tie game here going into the 4th quarter. Can our defense step up? On 3rd and 10, the pass is thrown away. We get the ball back. There's a lot of incomplete passes here. I don't know why we're running it on 2nd and long. And that's a quick 3rd and out. And Chicago is moving the ball, and they score. 3 minutes left. We got to kind of get the ball down the field. It's time to throw it. That's what I like to see. Moving the ball. Why are we... Okay, that's a Cam Ward run. And now we're going to come into the game. A 3rd and 7, a minute 45 left. We kind of have to score here. And we're at least going to get the first down with Tajay Spears. I don't know why 4 verticals is the call here, but it looks like it's just going to stay the call here. As we hit Hitchens over the middle down to the 11-yard line. That was a better play call than I thought it would be. Hit Mills, fights his way for the first down. Chicago has an injury timeout, actually. And I think here we're going to try to just run it in with Tajay. I think we have the look we want. And he is not going to get anywhere. And I didn't call a timeout, but I guess the computer will do it for you now on plays like that. Okay. Cam Ward's just going to run this one in and tie the game, leaving 33 seconds left on the clock. Time for our defense to step up. And that's going to do it. Chicago didn't call a timeout there. That was odd. I just wanted to skip the kickoff, and it skipped another play. They were playing for overtime, it seems. 33 seconds left, 2 timeouts. I don't think they do that in real life. Well, we start with the ball in overtime, which means I'm jumping in and we're going to try and score here. As Canty's not going to get anywhere because Cordova can't get out and set that block. I don't know why it's made us such a run-first team. I have built this team to throw the ball. Maybe I should have picked a different playbook. As we're going to hit Mills, he's going to fight for the first down. That's exactly what we needed. Again, a very run-heavy playbook. I wouldn't really picture Chicago as a run-heavy playbook, but we're going to run it. Try to not give them a lot of time to score because I do know that they get a chance. And Canty's going to have a big hole to run up the middle. We can just keep running it at this point. I want to try to rush them, make it to where they can't put together a nice methodical drive. But they are prepared for the run there. Second and 9, I feel iffy about running it here, but that's what we're going to do. As Canty is going to get a nice little gain of 5. Makes it 3rd and 4. And I want a mesh play. Get my tight ends crossing, try to get this 4 yards really easily. And we hit Batch, we get the first down. That's all we needed. Keep it slow. Keep that clock ticking. as Canty is gonna burst up the middle and get the first down. This is how you deal with them being able to get another chance to score. Is just by running the ball, even though they're going to stop that one behind the line. And I'm not going to go back to it. We're going to go back to the mesh play here. Canty is exhausted, so. And we don't have time as they bring the blitz. What do we do here? Third and 14. I guess we're going to run this. Try to look for Mills maybe over the middle. And we just don't have the time. They bring the blitz. That is not very good for us. We're going to kick the field goal. Get that up and good. Get up on this team. And then I guess try to stop them on the defensive side of the ball. All right, well. I have a feeling they're going to be passing the ball. Under 2 minutes left. They got to put a touchdown up on the board. As I thought I read that pretty good, but could not get there in time. And they just are able to pick us apart here. What are you doing there? As much as I think I'm going to go for a man coverage look here. And we get the third stop on third down. It's 3rd and 2. Unfortunately, he goes out of bounds. And Javon Holland seals it with the interception in the right place at the right time. That will end the game or in the Super Bowl. Javon Holland, a player that we brought in here, making a play in the Super Bowl and finishing this game off. And it doesn't look, comparing. Well, Caleb Williams did throw 2 picks, but man, was that not a great game out of Cam Ward as he went 24 for 33, 281 yards, and a touchdown. Also an interception. Tajay Spears, only 21 yards and a touchdown. Canty kind of had a better game on only 8 runs. Receiving, Dylan Hitchens leading the way in yards. Chapman with the only receiving touchdown. Defensively, Glenn Stevenson leading the way in tackles. Jose Hitchens in TFLs. No sacks. An interception for Javon Holland and 1 for Glenn Stevenson. That does it for your Super Bowl. And let's take one last look or say goodbye to this roster as I'm just seeing this. Tajay Spears, who's hurt, lost his depth trade down to an 80, which means Canny would be taking over. But Cam Ward playing up to a 94, still doesn't get a dev trait, which is kind of suspect. Just never got one. Hitchens playing up to a 94. The receiving core looks good. The offensive line looks really good. Johnny Mills, the rookie, playing up to an 82. He looks good. So the offense is still in a good spot. I know you have to re-sign. I think J.C. Latham needs to be re-signed. Cam Ward needs to be re-signed. But other than that, on the offense, still in a really good spot. Probably could use a running back. But defensively, I think we're in a great spot as Josh Sweat regressed a lot, giving Friedman the starting role there. No dev traits other than, no loss, but no gain either. Clark Phillips playing up to an 86. Roger McCreary looks good. Ashmore, the second-year player, looks good. Jose Hitchens looks fantastic. Fondre Sweat finally got off that 84 overall. Need a left end, but Jelani Watkins looking pretty good in that left outside linebacker spot. Friedman, we're not sure about. Anderson and Stevenson were fantastic. Same with Shaden Young. And Javon Holland with the game-winning interception in the Super Bowl. So the team looks really good. I mean, it's anytime you win a Super Bowl, it's a successful rebuild. So that's going to wrap it up for this one, folks. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and until next time, have a good one.